a week away on the 4th, 2 to 4 p.m. And Connor's reminding there's some kind of benefit to unlimited members and the pricing of that. I just don't remember. When Ruby gets back, she'll remember. And then Himalayan Institute is the end of the month, Friday night to Sunday afternoon. If you're interested in that, it's about a 3-hour drive north. Good food, beautiful hiking, chocolate coffee, believe it or not, and a yoga retreat. They do that there. And some incredible yoga classes and learning. So I'd love to have you there. And then after that, I think that's everything we need to know this morning. Let's get started. Child's pose. Alrighty, toes together, knees open, arms forward, forehead to your mat. Always like to remind you to come to this moment on your mat as though it's the moment you have never experienced before, because you haven't, and let go of everything else, your expectations of the practice, how it's been for you in the past, and just put your attention on your breathing. It took me probably decades of practice to be willing to do that. Just your attention on your breathing. If you can narrow it down in just to that, we actually stand more chance of building a personal transformation by the end of the practice. And that's our goal, a journey into powerfulness. So attention on the breath, deep breath in, fill up until you feel a full expansion. You know what your space is. And then an exhale through your mouth to get the back of your throat working in this breathing exercise. It's called pranayama, the practice of breath, as a practice inside the world of yoga. Few breaths to get your breath to the point where you're working with it and it has a volume you can hear. You can feel the vibration of it in your body, and you even take a breath or two to listen for those around you, whether you actually hear them or you imagine you hear them. It's in something like a willingness to be connected with is in the energy of that listening. Then once you have it developed, the breath, as a connection to self and a connection to others, we use it to inspire our movements through the practice, to lift us up on inhales, build us up, and to soften and let go on exhales. And through the practice, we balance that out. We create a balance between the effort pieces and the ease. So when you come to your next inhale, lift your body up into downward facing dog. Once you arrive, start to bend and straighten your knees to stretch out your toes, your feet, your calf muscles, the whole superficial back line of your body, fascia in the back of you. Just bend and straighten, move around a little bit to just warm that, that layer of inner saran wrap that's all through the back line of your body. You might like to move your heels from side to side or stretch a leg in the air. While you're doing all of that, connect to the foundation, your hands and your feet. And while you sink your hands into your mat and sink your heels down to the ground, while those parts of your body light up, see to it that the pit of your belly, also part of your foundation, lights up as well. When you come to your next inhale, move your body up to the front of your mat. At the front, organize your foundation, your feet hip width distance, lift up halfway and get a sense of how much stretch you've got available, and then hang down. Some of you like the back line warming up that Debbie shows you with the bouncing. Others, it's better to have some side to side flowing. Move to the rhythm of your breathing, and all the while continue shaping how you use the foundation of your feet on the floor. While you're dangling here, you might also discover that just letting your arm bones stir around in the air with attention on how it is in your shoulders gives you a little bit of opening up. It's always nice to start with the most minor and surface opening. As we go through the practice, we can get deeper and deeper. Then feet into the ground, come rolling up to standing. Sweep your arms overhead, lift up, look up, and then gather them into prayer position at the center of your chest. Eyes open with a gaze settled on a still point in the room, and create your intention for today. If we're going to be here, you're going to get sweaty. We intend for a journey into power. What would be the overarching North Star that gets you there as you shape each pose, an intention that gets you to your space in the end of being in your own power? I am present might be one, for example. And then we join together and create a clearing, preparing to practice by chanting Om together 3 times. Deep breath in. Inhale, reach up, fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift halfway, high plank to low plank, steadily breathe out. Then inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Fill up, and with a steadiness, empty your breath. 2 more times. The filling up is pretty easy, but focus on the steadiness of emptying. Then when you come to the last one, when you get to the exhale, bend your knees, get ready to move, and come up to the front of your mat. Then inhale, lift up halfway, and fold down. Press your feet into the ground. Stand for extended mountain pose. Stretch. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift halfway. High plank to low plank. Stretch from heels to crown. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Work together. Breathe in. Steady breath out. 2 more. Breathe in. Steady breath out. Last time, inhale. On the exhale, bend your knees, move up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold, extended mountain pose from your outside ankle to your pinky finger, stretch, fold to the floor. Inhale, lift halfway, chaturanga, be steady with your exhale and wait for it to end. Then inhale, upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog. Anytime you feel like your heart rate is just pounding away or your breath is getting short and quick, just take a sigh and make a new clearing. 1 more time, breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees, move up to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold, extended mountain. Last one, reach from your ankles to your fingers, fold to the floor. Half lift, low plank. Up dog, downward facing dog, right foot. Breathe. We're not at the right foot. Breathe. 2 more. Even here, you could feel the stretch from your pinky finger up your side body to your hip. Finish this breath. Come on up to the front of your mat. Halfway lift, forward fold, chair pose, sit and reach your arms high. Fold to the floor and empty. Halfway lift. Move to the low plank, empty your breath. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot lunge, warrior 1. See if you can be aware of side ankles to fingertips, hands to the floor, chaturanga, and empty. Up dog, down dog, left side step and lunge, feet to fingertips, stretch, breathe into the space, hands to the ground, chaturanga, empty your breath. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Got 3 breaths here. Inhale and exhale. If you don't feel the stretch from your hands up to your hips, there's an opportunity here. 1 more time. On the exhale, ready to move, jump up to your hands. Halfway lift at the front of your mat. Forward fold. Chair pose. Sit, reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank, empty. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot lunge, warrior 1. Inhale, reach, hands down, chaturanga, broad upper back. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side step and reach. Hands to the ground when you make it to your exhale. Upward facing dog when you're ready. Downward facing dog. In your downward facing dog, once you get settled there, take a deep breath in with a sigh. 1 more breath here. Exhale, ready to move. Come on up to your hands. Half lift, forward fold. Here we go again. Chair pose, reach. Sit as deep as you can. Fold to the floor. Half lift, chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog, right foot forward, lunge, arms up, lift up and reach up. Hands down, chaturanga, empty your breath. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Left side step, lunge, lift up, reach up. Hands down, chaturanga, and empty. Body's getting a little more warmed up here. Up dog, downward facing dog. When it's more warmed up, you can take up more space. With your next inhale, raise your right leg into the air, bend your knee, and flip the pose over until you have 2 feet on the floor. Once your feet are there, let them settle and sink down into the ground. Then feel how it is in your body. Either reach, take the wheel, or circles, and open something up. 3 breaths here. Balance the effort to the ease. You have 1 more breath. Then side plank, your right hand goes to the mat. There are so many variations here, just stacking your pose up like a letter T that has tipped. Raise the top leg, hug the bottom knee into the chest, and any customization that suits you for this last 3 breaths. Inhale, exhale. 2 more, inhale, and exhale. Here's the last one. Float now, high plank to low. Up dog to downward facing dog. The left leg in the air, bend your knee, flip the pose open. Steady feet on the floor. Steady breathing. Once you get completely flipped, steady breathing. Now you've got 3 breaths on this side. It might be just like the last side, but it might be wholly different. 2 more breaths. Last one. Side plank, left hand on the mat, face the right side of the mat, stack your body up. Steady breathing here. Once you get settled, draw in the pit of your belly so that your pelvis, rather than spilling forward, is lifted and in line with the rest of your body. Then high plank to low. Up dog, we'll meet in downward facing dog when you're ready. In your downward facing dogs, take a breath with a sigh to just clear your space. Then step your right foot forward into the crescent lunge and keep your breath flowing and steady as you bring your arms overhead. For most of us, when we get into this, of course, our heel is hanging back a little bit, if not even inward. So lunge forward until your heel stacks on top of your toe knuckles. You'll feel a whole lot more stretch in the front of your left hip. Once you get settled, reach up and go back. If you feel like you should have access to more back, it comes from a stronger back leg and a deeper lunge. If you want to go back further, lunge deeper. 2 more breaths here. Keep lifting your chest and opening. Last breath, then bring your hands to prayer and twist left elbow to your right knee. Good. Deep, deep lunge. Now fire up your back leg so that your left hip is more elevated than you usually have it. And that'll also mean pulling your right thigh and hip more back. You'll feel an intensity from that as you press your front foot's big toe down. Now 3 breaths for the rotation. So here we go. Inhale, whole body long. Exhale and ring it out, rotate. 2 more. Finish your 3rd one and then go up to the crescent lunge and set your drishti and keep it right there, the space where your eyes are gazing. Open your body to warrior 2 while your drishti remains set. Let your eyes just stay settled because they'll kind of hold a space for you energetically while you get your body organized. Then from your feet up through your joints, build your pose. So your front knee pointed in the same direction as your front toes by wrapping your thigh bone outward. Deep, deep lunge. Tilt for extended side angle. You can reach to the floor and reach to the ceiling. Keep your lunge really deep once you make this new move with the reaching. And then wherever you have set it up to be, back foot is a key anchor. Take 3 more breaths. The pose could be bound with your top arm behind your back. You could be reaching both arms forward. Here's the last breath. Bring your hands to the floor for a high plank to a low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Left foot forward for crescent lunge, just right in the rhythm of your breathing. Keep a smooth and steady breath, and whenever you lose connection to your breath, take a sigh and create a new beginning. You know to stack your back heel on top of your back toe mounds by lunging forward. Right here, you're setting up the pose to come, front thigh back, back hip forward. You got it. Keep that happening. Reach up and go back. Then chair, or then twist, hands to prayer and twist, right elbow to left knee. See how much there's just that tiny refinement available? Feel how it is in your body. There's always something to put your attention on. And then how do you know what to do with it? Well, you presence the mantra of the intention you set for the whole class. Maybe it's I am present. And then you work around that as you shape the rest of the moments of the pose. 3 more breaths. Twist. 2 more. Twist. You've got 1 more whole breath. Twist. Crescent lunge. Warrior 2. Steady breath. Set the front leg by the hip first, then the knee, then the toes. Different from foot, knee, hip. Once you've got that, lunge really deep and tilt for extended side angle. Deep lunge. If there's a part of you that's got too much ease, it's almost like a checked out or uninhabited, unalive section of the body, maybe put your attention there with your intention and take the last 3 breaths with your attention on that spot. Here we go. 3 breaths. Inhale. Strong back leg. Exhale. Straighten that leg. 2 more. Inhale. Strong body. Exhale. Soft chest. Last one. Complete the whole exhale. Bring your hands to the floor for chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. In the pose, take a full breath and a sigh. 1 more inhale. Ready to move on the exhale. Come on up to your hands. At the front, lift halfway. And forward fold. Keep your breath flowing. Chair pose. Sit back and set your drishti. Deep seat. Keep breathing. Then hands into prayer and make your twist, left elbow to your right knee. Once you get into your twist, see if you can make your torso long and lean from the sides of your hips up through the sides of your body to your armpits, both sides long. Once you have that, 3 breaths. That's it. Work with your breath. 2 more. Deep, deep seat. Last one. Twist. Chair pose. Reach. Forward fold. Feet hip width distance. Hook your big toes and stretch down. Keep your breath flowing. This could be a nice pose to take a sigh and just let go physically, let go of your breath, let go of the first part of the practice, and come into your body as it is right now. 1 more breath here. Chair twist the other way. So sit deep. Bring a strong breath now. Really disciplined breath. A lot of space in this breath. Twist. Right elbow to the left knee. Breath steady and flowing. See if you can just pull your right hip back. Yep. Knees a little more together. Maybe even hugging a block if you've got it. There you go. Now body on the sides long. 3 times long and twist. You've got this. 2 times more and twist. Now the last one. Really open up your chest. Chair pose. Forward fold. Gorilla pose, you'll stand on your hands. Palms underneath of your feet from the front. A couple of sighs maybe to just let go. Shake the shoulders, shake the head, let your spine, the space between each one of your ribs, just open up. And then on your hands, walk to the back of your mat until you're at the very back or even off of your mat and come down onto your knees. From the back of the mat, we'll build our headstand prep practice. Forearms on the mat, measure palm to elbow. Once you measure palm to elbow, that's where your elbows need to stay the whole time. Then open up your forearms, interlace your hands, put your fingers, your baby fingers, one in front of the other rather than one on top of the other, rather than on top. Then bring your head to the ground at your hairline or just behind it and hug the back of your head so your head's not on your fingers. Now press down with your forearms and feel how they are holding all the weight. Turn your toes under and lift your hips up in the air. Walk your feet as close as you can get them to your face. You'll feel more of your body stack on top of your forearms. Then see if you can bend one knee and bring your heel into your hip and take little tiny, little baby hops off the floor and feel how that is. Some of you, that's easy for you now. You'll bring the other heel into your hip and you'll just hold it right here. Keep on breathing. Giving it a try. Keep your knee right into your chest, Jessica. Yes. Your heel will be into your bum, so you can bend your knee, heel into your hip, and then the other toe can tilt. So this guy can stay right here, and then the other one takes the tiny little jump. Yep, take another. Yeah, right there, knees into your chest, both of them in your, you got it, breathe. You're able to come down at any time and rest in child's pose, really good. Rest in child's pose. Connor, you can stay there if you want to, or add any little tricks you want. We're gonna be trying this again. Okay, ready for the second one? Ideally, we're toward the back of the mat in case you roll out of this so that you don't land on your water bottles. Or you can even push your water bottles to the back space of your mats. So first you measure palm to forearm. Keep the elbow set. Make a basket with your hands. Put your hairline or just beyond on the ground. You'll feel a little crowded in this position. Turn your toes under and walk your feet in close to your face. Keep your knee into your chest. You're getting it, Charlie. Knees into your chest. That's it, Angie. Little bit bigger hop. Knees into your chest. Bring them into your chest. Hold it there. Flex your feet. Don't you go away from me. Hold it right there. Press on my shoulder with your feet. You got it. Breathe. Easy breath. You're right there, Charlie. Okay, tuck your chin and roll. Good. You're a little too far back on your head. This is good. Come down and take your child's pose and rest. Charlie did the best thing. He felt himself starting to tip and he just tucked his chin and rolled. Fortunately, his water bottle was out of the way. How do you feel? Okay, rest in child's pose. We usually take 3 of those. The thing about getting upside down is it just takes practice. First, fear is there, and then we develop new strength. Okay, our last one, our third one. Get it set up. Charlie, I think you're still a little too far back on your head. Get closer to your hairline. Yes, just that little bit. And then we'll set it up. Last one, head on the ground rather than in your hands. Make your downward facing dog with your legs. Hips in the air. Walk your knees in toward your chest. One heel to your hip and a little hop with the other one. And you'll hold your, yeah, you got this. You can point or flex and just imagine your feet on the ceiling. Yeah, you got that completely. Knees into your chest and a little hop. Knees into your chest. You got it, Sandra. Try them into your chest if you can. You got it right there. Breathe. Breathe. You can get down. I missed that. Sorry. You're free to come down whenever you want to. Feel how much there's like a tip over your shoulders to get stacked. Nice. Rest in child's pose. Feel okay? I thought you were solid there, but that happens. Jen and I missed getting to you. Bring yourselves into a tabletop now. And let's thread the needle. So sometimes when you do that kind of like wiggling around, you guys are getting bolder with a little bit of rolling out, and that's good. Before we weren't getting so daring that we would even dare to roll out. So right arm under, ear on the ground, and hold your hand and stretch. So let any kind of disruption that occurred in your upper back or neck from the wiggling around and uncertainty, let that stretch out right now. I'll definitely say that some of the things inversions brought to me when I learned them more years ago was openness in my shoulders. But as I was tottering around upside down, sometimes I'd end up giving myself a little bit of a knot in my upper back from like tipping and catching. Okay, come up to tabletop and let's do the other side. So you'll weave the left arm under. You can see how there's a whole new world of strength that you build when you're in an inversion. Tons of core strength. And once you get stable, there can be pressing your legs, all kinds of things. But first, stability. Stability will only come by practicing it. In the inversion workshop, we'll be planning some skill work for you to do that you can take home and practice, as well as, getting you upside down a little bit. And it's for all levels. Okay, come back through. Let's take downward facing dog. Stretch out in your downward facing dog. Do a little bit of an assessment in your upper back. How's it feeling? Your neck, shake your head out. And let's get ready to give it some stretching with eagle pose. So take a breath in, breath out, and come on up to the front of your mat. Halfway lift, forward fold. Come rolling up to standing. Stretch your arms overhead. Right side eagle pose. Right arm under, squat, right leg over. The basket headstand is the foundational inversion. There's a little bit more at risk than some versions of upside down, but not so much. We get some compression of the spine, which is a very nice thing for it to be able now to stand up and let it be open. Step out and switch sides, left arm under, left leg over. And here you'll be able to explore bringing your elbows low and high and hands away from your face and finding the spot in your upper back that most is craving an opportunity to open up. You get a whole second round here. Step out, right arm under, right leg over. Getting comfortable in inversions gives you something that I would hope is a result of years of yoga practice, which is an ability to just find your body in space. Tumbled around upside down and backwards, having a sense of where you are and being able to find your ground or your settledness inside of yourself, rather than from, say, a drishti point outside of yourself. Last side, last set. Left arm under, left leg over. Sometimes we wonder, what's the point of that, different, bigger pose? Is it all for performance? And that's why I like to share with you the value of learning an inversion. Breathe here and let your body melt away or heal anything just left behind from your inversion practice. And then step out, arms overhead. In addition, I would recommend holding your foot for this extended leg raise. So with a strap or your hand, hold your foot and press your heel forward. What you get to have happen is all this area that might have flickered around as you were trying to hold your balance, it gets to stretch. So if you're using a strap, shorten it as much as you possibly can. Yes, you feel that in your back a little bit, Janet? Good. Good. Feel how it is in your back, and you breathe. Put your attention in that spot in your back, and you breathe. Promote a warmth, a healing. Where your attention goes is where energy flows. Open your leg, look and reach to the left. Nice. Feel how that is in your body. And then bring your leg forward. Airplane poses next. I oftentimes like to take the bind for this, just because I like continually working my upper back. You're welcome to take the bind or keep your arms open wide like an airplane pose. And wherever you are in this pose, lift your chest a little bit more and take your arm bones to the ceiling rather than the floor. Take your gaze a little more forward, a little more up. For the last breath, leg a little higher. Then hands to prayer. Keep your leg high, half moon pose. Left arm to the ground, right arm to the ceiling. Lift your heel of the lifted leg, just your heel and that outside ankle higher. Yeah, just the heel. That's it. And then imagine the center of your heel pressing into something, grounding down. 2 more breaths. Just let the energy course through your body. Feet to the floor and hang. Sway from side to side. How does it feel in your body? You've done something big on one side that the other side's probably craving. If you'll be using your strap, grab it and come on up to standing. We'll take the left side now. Left side, steady breathing. Hold on to your foot. The straps, make them as short as humanly possible. In your body, as short as they can be, and extend. Nice. Deal with whatever shows up in your body. Let it be okay, like not wrong or broken or insufficient. Just work with it as like the incredible, vibrant, powerful thing your body is, and breathe into it and discover the powerfulness of what your body could create in this pose. Open to the left, look and reach to the right. You got this. Steady breathing. Your body almost gets to calm down in this one a little bit. Open up your chest, lift up. Come forward, hug your knee into your chest. Keep your breath flowing. Let's take the airplane pose. Remember, you have many choices, a lot of extra strength with your arms forward like a Superman. Traditional, your arms open wide, and you're just working on moving your arm bones to the back of your body, or the bind, just opening up. Bring your gaze in front of your mat, like out to this block, and lift your chest. Yes, just like that, as you can see. A little more upward dog, then hands to prayer. Get steady by pressing your palms together. You steady. Half moon. Right arm down, left arm in the air. Now keep your breath flowing. Lift your outside heel higher and ankle higher, and then press it down. That's it, Janet. Press it. Just like Janet's pressing her heel into my hand, you imagine you've got something there to press into. Heel a little higher. Press this up so it rotates a little. Yeah, there you go. And open your hip. Open up and look up. Forward fold. Good work. Sway from side to side. We're going to flow through a couple of back bends. Come all the way up to standing and sweep your arms overhead. Right arm drifts behind. So from the armpit to the palm, the whole inner side of the arm is open. Hold your ankle from the inside and start with your knees together, not your right knee hanging out to the side. And then drive the pose forward and back like you're just drawing an arrow through a bow. Keep breathing. Build that tension of drawing and pulling, a tension that you're hanging off of. Drive your kicking foot, the heel and the big toe mound, up to the ceiling. Step out, windmill your arms around until your back arm is inseam open. Hold your ankle, right arm in the air. And begin to drive into this pose. Steady breathing. Once you get into the edge of it physically for you, enjoy it. Breathe in the space. Feel how incredible and vibrant you are as a living thing. One more breath. Step out. Take a pause, perhaps hands on your hips or hands into prayer. A sigh to just settle your systems, respiratory, circulatory, your nervous system. And then let's do a second round. Sweep your arms overhead. Right arm open. Hold your ankle, left arm in the air. Start with your knees together and drive the pose open. From your hand pressing forward to your kicking foot, dragging your other hand back. Fingertips through shoulders, through fingertips. Full tension, that's the arrow. Pulling through the bow. 2 more breaths. Just to experience it, let your right shoulder roll back and step out. Arms perhaps overhead. Drop the left arm behind you. Hold your ankle from the inside. I think you have the flexibility for this. There you go. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then your foot, it can kick back and just drag your shoulder back. Yes, and up. Exactly. Work with that. 5 breaths. Keep reaching, keep reaching, keep reaching, keep reaching, keep reaching, keep reaching. Fight for it. You 3 more. Of course, I'll let go if you choose to come out, but you've got this. And step. Feet on the ground. Your heart should be pounding. You feel that? Heart pounding. We'll settle it all down with tree pose. Left foot on the floor, right foot to your left inner thigh. Hands to prayer. Your hands pressing to the center line. Your foot and thigh pressing to the center line. All that has this quality of total body integrity. Pulling in, pressing down, lifting up, all to integrate. All hugging into the center line. Switch sides, right foot down, left foot up. You notice your 3 systems settling here just in this pose. You're a very powerful creator and mover and manipulator of energy. That's where I always think about Mickey Mouse in Fantasia, where us at the beginning of class are like Mickey Mouse and he's shooting it all over the room and crazy stuff's happening. But as we breathe and we move, we point our drishti, in the end, we become the very skilled sorcerer. Step out, come to the front of your mat. At the front, prepare to begin anew, like freshly. Inhale, reach your arms overhead, fold to the floor. Lift up halfway, chaturanga on your exhale. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward, triangle pose, steady breathing. Right hand on the block or the ground behind your right ankle. Left arm in the air. Keep on breathing here. If you've got long legs, take up the whole mat, both of you. Even you, Connor, try it a little longer. See if it gives you more freedom and new things to try. Good. Yep. Once you have your feet, ensure you've got the pit of your belly, which is the lowest strength. Yes, I saw that. Good. Stay here for just one more breath. Good, Sandra. I see that strength there. Come on up to standing. Face the long left side of your mat with your feet parallel to the short sides of your mat and forward fold. Just keep your breath flowing. You guys are doing a really nice job with your breath today. Once you get down here, stretch your fingertips forward and stand on your fingertips. And then from your pinky all the way up the side of your body to your hip, all that space, stretch it long. The side of your body is an easily unconsidered part of the body. And though the two sides of our body independently create our shape, one might shrink down, the other might be kind of loose and long. As you breathe, intend for the two sides to be long, to be stable and strong, to be open. And then walk your hands back in, come up to standing, turn face the front of your mat. Standing, single leg forward fold. Keep your breath flowing. The default is here to go in a really short step, and what we're left with is a bowing at the waist. Keep it long, work your front foot, and create it as a hinging at the hip. So from the hips up to the armpits, it stays evenly long on the two sides of your body. And then work with what you discover. Steady breathing. Two sides of your body long. Nice. You're welcome to bend your front foot or front knee as needed. Charlie, bring your front big toe really into the mat if you can. Yeah, anchor it. Don't lose your pinky, but keep it anchored. Better. You've got your legs and hips. We'll take twisting triangle, which would be left hand down. Get that set up at first, and then step forward to reverse half moon. So when you get into this reverse half moon, whole body super long, back like really active, and then maybe open up to the right. You got it. Legs high. Legs even higher. Legs even higher. Now open up your chest. Yes, Charlie, your chest is nicely opening. Good, Sue. Everyone forward fold and hang. Beautiful. All the whole back row. Beautiful poses. Had my eyes on you all. Okay, now that had to feel exhilarating. On top of all the work you did, what has to be left is exhilaration, and that's part of vinyasa. After you put in the place, drishti, the gaze, ujjayi, the breath, bandha's your foundation, heat builds, and you get access to vinyasa. Let's get ready for the next round of that. Come all the way up to standing. Reach up and forward fold. Halfway lift, chaturanga. You use the vinyasa to create shapes in your body. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side triangle. Keep your breath flowing as you build it. You've got a lot of freedom in how you build it. You are feeling what's happening in your body. You are the teacher of you in your yoga practice. I'm kind of like calling the plays, but you're playing the game. Now, what else do you have access to? A longer stride, a bigger connection from your front foot's big toe into the mat. Sink right here. Press right there. Pinch my finger, Connor. Roll into this inside angle. There it is. Keep pinching it. Keep pinching it. Front foot, big toe down. Connor is pressing his. You press yours. Come on up to standing. It helps you not drop into your hyperextension. Take your arms around behind. Use a strap or bind your hands. Face the long right side of your mat. Wide leg forward fold. So your feet will be parallel to the short sides. You'll take on your bind and fold. You might just want to take a sigh when you get down here and just let the weight of your arms drop to the floor. Shake out your shoulders, your head. Sometimes I even like rotate my torso to face my attention to the left while my arms fall behind me, and then switch the whole thing. Invite your body to open up. They say that when we're under anesthesia, all of a sudden that stiffness we perceive in our waking lives just isn't even there. Just let go and see if there's some space for you. Then come up to standing, point to the front of your mat, standing single leg forward fold. Keep your breath flowing. Come into your drishti, your breath, your foundation. See if it creates a heat. Try a little longer, Angie. Yeah, yes. Try a little bit longer. Yes. Good. Breathe and experience this. Now take a moment from the creases of your hips up through the sides of your body, the sides of each of your ribs to your armpits. Make that space pretty long. Then create the twisting triangle. Step into the reverse half moon and keep on breathing. If you feel like your body shape has you kind of curling around, looking kind of around behind you, look a little more to the front left corner of your space. You look toward Angie over here. Yep, and stretch the whole side of your body open. There you go. The last step will be to melt your thoracic spine into your chest. One more inhale. One more exhale. Forward fold and hang. Good work. Sway from side to side. Feel how it is in your body. You are creating the whole rest of your day from right here. Come rolling up to standing. Sweep your arms overhead. Look up, reach up. How is it now from your side ankle to your pinky fingers? How long do you feel now? Fold to the floor and exhale. Inhale, lift up halfway. Chaturanga on the exhale. Stretch out. Be strong. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Come out to your high plank position. Set your shoulders over your handstand, hands and arms, and point your toes behind you. Press your handstand hands into the ground. So your upper back rounds. So chest up, arm bones get short. Yeah, high upper back, high hips. So your hips as high as your shoulders. Look a little forward. You got it right here. Pit of your belly's up. There it is. Hold it here. If you've got the toe taps doing, we've got 5 breaths. Really good. 4 breaths. 3 breaths. 2 breaths. 1 more breath. Right like that. Sit back, child's pose. And they never get better. I know. Someday when our core gets a little bit stronger, the legs will feel lighter. We got 1 more round in us. Janet missed last week, so you can always take this just in like a bear crawl with your toes turned under and lift. The whole thing we don't want to have happen is that your bum is up and your belly's hanging. So we do want some semblance, so not a whole cat stretch, but moving into that direction. So it could be right here, or we'll take it here, but the arms are handstand arms and the body is light. If you want to tap, it can be up and down or side to side or out and gently touch and put it back. Okay, get on up there and go. 2 taps are likely enough. More pit of the belly now, so your pelvis is very neutral. You're curling here. That's it. You get finished. Good, Sandra, you got the form. Everybody, excellent. Knees down, child's pose. Stretch back and breathe. We're just really doing that pose is just a handstand tilted down. When we develop that strength, the handstand itself is much easier. Come onto your belly now for locust pose. That core strength we've been using, we get to stretch it now. So however you're going to do this, lift up. No restrictions, no over teaching. Just lift and let it feel good. Good, breathe. Even here, you're going to need some activation in the pit of your belly while we're stretching it. 2 more breaths. Last one, and come on down. We'll take 1 set of floor bow, and we're going to hold it for 10 breaths. If you're doing 1 side at a time, you do 5 and 5. Bend your knees, reach back and hold your ankles. Let your arms go to jello, and then your legs be the power to kick back and up. And then here we'll go. We've got our 10 breaths. Start working your rounds of breath. You are welcome to tuck your chin in, but have it be that your neck is equally long in the back, front, and sides. Good. Keep your breath flowing. Complete the end of our 10 breaths. When you get to the end, because you're doing your counting, I'm sure much better than I am, you can relax down. From this, when you're complete, after you get to relax, it's upward facing dog to downward facing dog. We'll be taking 1 set of camel pose. So stretch through to your downward facing dog and prepare for camel pose. That looks like knees on the ground, hugging in, maybe to a block between your knees. I like my toes turned under. We'll start by reaching up, getting the side body long. I have to concentrate on lifting the front of my pelvis, or I inevitably have my pelvis tilting forward. And then maybe from here, arms go back to hips or feet. You choose. We want it to be that it's all a lift in the front, that we don't get to that default where we kind of sink in our bottom rib. Good. So lift the pit of your belly a little more. That'll look like this. And then lift right here in the bottom rib too. So right these spots. Feel how big the pose is now? Yeah, it's a lot of strength though, but you've got it. Good, a lot of good form in the room. Come on up out of it, downward facing dog for a stretch, and then move through your hands, sit down and roll onto your back for bridge pose. All the way through to bridge pose. Ankles under your knees, press down and rise up. Once you get up into the bridge, tuck your shoulders under your back, interlace your hands, press your elbows straight. A little more pressure in your big toe knuckles. Heels a little wider for most people. And come on down, knees side to side. We'll get ready for our wheel pose, bringing them out of a bridge. So start in the bridge. Up in the bridge, then hands set on the floor wide. Press down and rise up. There you go. Roll some weight into the knuckles of your big toes. Knees, let them hug in toward your center line. Give that a hug if you can. Good. Heels perhaps a little wider. Tuck your chin and come on down. Knees side to side. We'll take 3 more. Get set up. Bridge into wheel. Set it up and go and challenge yourself. You could presence the intention that you're working with as your North Star. An intention is a tool to guide, gives you the mood of a thing. If the mood of this thing is I am open, how does that determine the pose? Come on down. Knees side to side. You have 2 more. Get ready for the first of those 2. Set it up. Press down, rise up. Set your hands really wide. That could be the next step of deeper access in this pose, is hands set wide. And then pressure on your thumbs. Tuck your chin and come on down, knees side to side. Okay, we've got the last one. Here we go. This is it. You've done the work of this pose. Consider this where you're over the works of the pose and on the other side where we're in the peak or the value or the benefit. Get up there. Sort it out. Line it up as best you can today, whatever you've discovered about it, and take a sigh. And then let yourself be easy with every single breath, every sigh, every exhale. And come on down to Supta Baddha Konasana. This might be a nice chance to close your eyes, to rest your hands on your body or by your side. Take a sigh here. And be just fully in awe of how it is for you right now. We took those last few poses to ignite, to not only uncover our own vitality, we've been working with that, our own inexhaustible well of life force, but then to charge it up, to ignite it. And now we get stable at that new level. Hug your knees into your chest. Dead bug pose. You're on a journey into power. Power is a different word than force. Power is an ability to be in a present moment, experiencing what's occurring, and then applying the tools that you have that apply to the situation that would make it different. It lets you put in what's missing in a moment. Legs straight up in the air. And then curl up. Press your palms forward like they're in a handstand and watch your belly breathe in. And as you exhale, just sink it down really deep. Keep your bottom ribs on the ground and all those bones of your lower back. And then we're making scissors. So lower your right leg as low as it goes without the box of your torso shifting. And then switch. So I have to be really careful that the leg in the air isn't shortening on my side, and keep going back and forth. And just explore and experiment with that. Legs shifting for 5, 4. What does it take to keep the two sides of your body equally long as you do this? 3, 2, and 1. Relax and hug your knees into your chest. If you have a block, hug it between your ankles and take your legs straight up in the air. Ideally, you experience this block more on your shin bone and less on the meat of your calf muscles. Then take a breath in. You can have your head on the ground or curled up and lower your legs 30% of the way to the floor and hug that block. Hug your thigh bones into your body. And then breathe again and lower it a little bit more. Now, don't let your bottom rib come up. Breathe again. If there's more, lower it, or you might even find you need to soften your knees and stay where you are. Stay right here. Take a breath in, and then bring your legs back up in the air. Peel that open. Here we go again. Lower it. There might be more. Lower it. If there's more, lower it. Hold it here. Wrap your thigh bones in. Breathe in. Exhale, legs up. We're going to try one last one. Do it however you want to. Here we go. Lower and lower. If your toes are turning out, turn them back up to the ceiling. Lower if there's more. Stay right here and breathe 3 breaths. You got this. 2 breaths. Deep belly. Breathe in. Exhale, legs back up. You did it. Remove the block. We'll take bicycles. So shins parallel to the floor. Fingertips behind your ears. Curl up. Now we still have this box. Hip bone to hip bone. Rib to rib. Keep it evenly square on the ground. And you start rotating without one side collapsing. Go ahead and go 10 times. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stretch your whole body out long on the mat. Next, you're going to hug your knees into your chest and then rock. And when you rock, try rocking up until you're balanced on your sitting bones, but your feet aren't touching the floor. Do that 3 or 4 times. On the third one, we'll stay there balancing. See if you can balance on this third one, and it's boat pose here. Good. You could hug the block between your ankles and shins, but what there is to watch for is that your heels grow wider. Yeah, that's it. A little thicker will help. Toes straight up in the air. Heels a little wider. Breathe for 3. Sit up tall, 2. Last one. Hug your knees. Rock 3 times through to downward facing dog. Take right side pigeon pose. Keep your breath flowing as you move from pose to pose. Keep a drishti somewhere in the room. Whether right now your practice has a lot of movement or it's taking a little break, still breath, still drishti, right side pigeon pose. As you settle physically into this pigeon pose, set it up purposefully, and then put your attention on your breathing. You might still be breathing pretty hard, and that's okay. You could even take a couple of sighs. Put your attention on your breath. Watch as you hold the pose how your nervous, circulatory, and respiratory systems just start to slowly settle. Nothing to force and make happen. Be an observer that because you're observing, there's something happening. We'll switch to the other side and you'll still watch your breath soften even more, your heart rate settle even further. You may even start to become aware of your ujjayi breath softening away. That might be true for some of you and not so much yet for others. When it does, what your breath will look like is this, that the pause between the inhale and the exhale will no longer be there. Eventually, as we get to the very end of the practice today, the inhale will flow right into the exhale and you'll be shifted into an everyday breathing. But it won't be the everyday breathing you came into the practice with. It'll be informed. It'll be sculpted. You'll find you have a quality of deep consistency in your breath. And while you've now trained your breath to match your movements and to inspire your movement, that will go with you. In going with you, it will bring an easeful quality to the rest of your day. Sit on your left hip, swing your right leg around for double pigeon. Create it however it occurs in your body today, whatever the opportunity is that's showing up in your body. Double pigeon is kind of like crisscross applesauce from kindergarten, except a little more organized. If it's possible, it's that your shins are stacked on top of one another with your active ankles hanging off the sides of your thighs. Now, bodies are different, so it might be shin right on top of each other. We want to be sitting on the sitting bones. There might be an ability to hinge forward. Should be no sensation in your knees. That's the only rule of thumb. Everything else is fair game. To shift, we'll visit a boat pose in the middle. So bring yourself into boat pose, set it up. We'll take 5 breaths here. 5 strong, sturdy, steady breaths. When you finish your 5th breath, you are invited to the other side of this pose. Active ankles. So if you look at your feet and they're kind of asleep, flex your ankles and spread your 10 toes. When you get to the point where you sit here and it's no big deal, then we're ready to adjust the alignment a little bit more and bring you into a new level of intensity. In the pose, perhaps a sigh. And then sit up. Open your feet really wide, your legs long, so a seated wide leg forward fold. Toes, point them straight up to the ceiling. May take something to get sitting up tall. You could sit your hips on your block. And then if it's available, you're feeling your sitting bones, the bottom bony protrusion of your pelvis sitting on the ground, then you can kind of roll to the front edge of that and fold forward. Little softness to the knees works for a lot of bodies. And then Connor, you know, a variation for you is arms through and maybe around behind your back. Those are your choices. Yeah, press out into your heels until they potentially lift off of the floor. I know, it's a lot of stretch. Okay, come on up. Single seated leg extensions. Keep your right leg long. Bend your left leg, fold over your right leg. You'll notice over the years of your yoga practice, there's a lot that you were unaware of early on, where your toes might be, where your fingers are. And gradually, though all the parts come alive and they become integrated into the whole, like a choice to breathe is a choice for the whole body. As it becomes more alive, it becomes healed and healthy too. You become just more aware of yourself. Switch sides. A journey into power is a journey into aliveness. Let your outside ankles soften so that your baby toes come back towards your face. The outside ankle just stiffens up. You just let it soften. You'll feel your center hamstring more. Let's let that outside ankle roll back a little. Charlie, see how like it's really maximum like this? There. Feel it more? 2 legs straight in front of you now. Seated forward fold. Get onto your sitting bones and move them behind. Many will need soft knees or feet set a little wide. We'd like all feet to be active. So the cues in the feet are feet at 12 o'clock. So like they're the hand on the clock pointing straight up to noon. And then lift your 10 toes toward your face and spread your 10 toes. Yes. Then there's this quality of your inner ankles going back. And what that would be right now is like you were brushing the line from the inside of your big toe down your arch to your inner heel to the floor. It'll broaden your sitting bones. Okay, come up, reverse, tabletop or plank. If it's plank, you could hug the block between your knees. And then lean back onto your hands with your fingers facing your feet, shoulders back, lift up. That's it. Let your hands sink down into the ground while your chest floats up between your arm bones to the ceiling. And breathe soft, confident, patient, steady breath. One more time. And come back down. Fish pose. It could be the fish pose that comes out of the bridge, where you bring your hands under your body and get your whole arm under. I always love this one because many of us from our typing, phone tapping bodies could really use compression of our forearms. Once you're sitting on your forearms, palms to the ground, and straighten but keep active your legs. This gives you just enough fish pose, just enough chest expansion, but also gives you that incredible compression to your forearms and your wrists. You can take any variation that you're drawn to. And then in your pose, take a sigh. And tuck your chin and roll onto your flat back. Once you arrive on your flat back, then your choices are these. Any inversion, but plow pose is the called inversion here. That's feet overhead to plow. You could stay with waterfall, flat on your back, legs straight up in the air. Plow, once you get overhead, get your shoulders to tuck under your body as deeply as they will. And then hands to your lower back for support. Endeavor to just float your hips up to the ceiling so your side body is long. If that feels stable and confident, like straight up in the air, to shoulder stand. In the shoulder stand or plow, you just keep the back of your neck soft, curving into your body, rather than going so long it becomes flat. I usually roll up my hand towel and tuck it under my neck just to help me with that. You wouldn't imagine how much soreness and tension you experience in your neck and upper back when you start flattening your neck like that. Go wherever you're going. Get steady there. Let yourself discover some level of stillness. And then breathe. 5 breaths. I was helping my friend prepare the content for a retreat he's about to teach in a couple days, plow pose. And we were just talking about setting an old era of self behind to step into a new era of life lived according to one's calling. Come rolling out of the pose. Supta Baddha Konasana. You're welcome to take a simple twist to either side. And then Shavasana, the deep rest. Organize your body so that your body's comfortable. You feel like your bones are supported. Nothing seems like it's kind of hanging on. And that can be any shape, really, that suits you today. It's not like a rule about Shavasana. And then when you do feel like your body's pretty nicely settled, take a sigh and check one more time. And do any rearranging that you discover when you check one more time. And then give yourself an opportunity to just be still in a soft kind of way and to listen to the sound of your breathing. And I'll read to you from Journey to the Heart. This reading is called Take Time to Develop a Vision. As above, so below. First, it happens in spirit. Then, it manifests in physical, not the other way around. First, we see a vision. Our soul tells us through the words and eyes of our heart. Then the steps become clear and we see the order in which they should be taken. And then it's finished. By the time the vision has arrived, it is already, as some say, a done deal. You waste so much time and effort when you would try to accomplish something before you have even envisioned it. Learn to let the vision come first. Take time to shape it in spirit before you try to shape it in physical form. If you can't see something clearly, the vision may not be complete. Take the time you need to think about it, to let it come into focus, to let the vision take shape in your mind. Operating from vision will guide us onto our highest path. It will also make our life and our work much easier. Take time to develop a vision for all you want to do. Let your vision guide you. When it manifests itself first in spirit, the physical form will follow. Begin to deepen your breath and move your toes and fingers. The knees into your chest and roll to your side. From your side, come up to a comfortable sitting position and sit tall. Once you're settled in, sweep your arms overhead. Then gather your hands to prayer position at the center of your chest. With your eyes closed, give yourself a moment to listen inwardly. Observe and be aware of your mood, your emotions, how it feels physically in your body right now. And then notice if there is an intention that suits you, that fits you, that wants to have you for the day. If you notice an intention, set that intention as a North Star in how you relate to yourself and others through the day. And then one more time, we'll chant together. Take a deep breath in. Thumb knuckles to the center of your forehead. Inhale and exhale. Namaste. Thank you. Good work. It's such a pleasure to see you all. We're also getting ready for our next access training. It's for people who want to teach yoga or people who just want to learn more. It happens once a month for 8 months and it begins late April. So if you're interested, I can answer those questions as well. Have a good rest of your day.